I think we're good. Hello, welcome back to another video. As you've seen from the title, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles 3 so far. We've streamed the game 4 times now. As you guys can see in the channel, there's 4 VODs. That's literally all the gameplay I've covered so far. And I think it's nice time for me to kind of give my first impressions on the game for you all today. It's something that I kind of want to do because I am genuinely enjoying myself with this game, and I want to share my thoughts and opinions on the game through my experiences so far. But first of all, I do want to add that if you're watching this video, I'm actually live right now playing some more Xenoblade Chronicles. So after this video, why don't you click the link in the description and hop in and join the community and watch me play through the game and see my first time reactions to it. So Xenoblade Chronicles 3, for me personally, has been a bit of a journey. I say that because I started Xenoblade Chronicles 1 3 years ago. It was when I reintroduced myself to the world of Nintendo, and I was playing the likes of Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Breath of the Wild was one of the more successful series on the channel. One of the main reasons I fell in love with the Nintendo community, which is all of you. So thank you for that and all the support over the years. But eventually I ended up going towards Xenoblade Chronicles because I wanted to dabble with lots of different Nintendo IPs, and Xenoblade Chronicles was one that kept appearing by members of the community and suggesting by members of the community. And I'll be honest, when I first saw Xenoblade Chronicles, I worked in GameStop for a few years, and Xenoblade Chronicles was a game that was there on the shelf. And to me, it just looked like another anime game, you know. And I'm sure that's everybody's first impression that are not aware or familiar with Xenoblade Chronicles or the Xenogears or the Xenosaga games. Like, I know they're all like loosely connected or whatever, but all those games were not games that were in my line of sight growing up, like at all. Like, I never looked at them and said, oh, I want to get that game, which I find a bit strange because I did like anime growing up. I've always loved anime. I have to admit I haven't watched anime in a long time, but I used to be very much heavily invested in anime. So an anime and a video game meshed into one, why wouldn't I like that? I don't know, for some reason I kind of kept my anime and my video games as separate things, and I didn't really connect them together. But yeah, my first impressions with Xenoblade Chronicles by just looking at the cover art was, oh, it's an anime game, there's no way that's any good. Because there is a serious amount of anime games out there that are just dog shit. We have to be real with ourselves. Even the well-known animes like Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online, some of them games are just so bad that there is no point in playing them. But then when I decided to actually, take the plunge and play Xenoblade Chronicles, I was introduced to a whole new world of interesting characters and storytelling that I was not expecting at all. Like, I genuinely was flabbergasted when I first entered the world of Xenoblade Chronicles. And I didn't realize that this game had this much substance until I started playing the games. And I really genuinely fell in love with the characters, the story, the gameplay is one of the most intricate things about Xenoblade Chronicles, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. I have to admit I've had my fair share of overwhelming moments with the gameplay because there's so much happening with the user interface and a lot of things on screen that you have to focus on and multiple different characters to focus on, and the skills and the arts and the leveling system and all that stuff. It was something that was very new to me, even though I had experience with some JRPGs in the past, but none quite like this one. I have also had experiences with like Final Fantasy games with the turn-based aspect. This one was a very different take on the turn-based genre, and it added so much more to it. But over the years, I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and I completed it, and I played Future Connected, DLC. I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, as you all know. 2 was a fun game. I would say Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has some of the best gameplay mechanics out of the 3 currently. One of the best features of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was the elemental stuff. Like, I loved playing with that. At first, it was daunting, and I'm sure that's the same experience for everyone. But when you get a hang of it, it's one of the most satisfying things ever. Of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a little bit more out there compared to its first game, especially with the characters and the way they act and just the overall tone. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. As I said, I'm an enjoyer of anime, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 kind of embraced that anime and really kind of portrayed it with its characters, and I had nothing against it. But overall, the story was really cool in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 story, far better. In my opinion, just far better. But then eventually I decided to come back to Xenoblade Chronicles because I did leave the franchise for like 2 years, and that's from like some negative experience that I've had that I've touched up on here on this channel a few times already. But that just comes down to backseating and just my distaste for the fan base, and not all of them. I'm not painting everybody on the same brush, but there is the few that kind of pop up there and you just kind of poke where they shouldn't poke, and it did affect me a little bit in my experience with this franchise. So I said I'd just step away for about 2 years, which I did, and I eventually came back and I played Torna, as you know, and I finished it, and man, it felt so good to beat Torna and play the game again and just get that feeling of that amazing gameplay that Xenoblade Chronicles has. And it made me want to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 even more. And here we are, 4 streams in with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I apologize it's taking me this long to get here. I just kind of wanted to give a bit of backstory before we get into it. But 4 years, no, about 5 years, I would say now. 5 years in the making to get to Xenoblade Chronicles 3? No, I'm getting this all wrong. It was 3 years ago when I started Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Where am I getting the fight? I don't know. Ignore that part. I was thinking about Breath of the Wild. So yeah, it's taken me 3 years to eventually get here. 2 years of a break between the second game and this one. And it feels good. I will say this, like, I knew I was going to be entering something special because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is highly praised by the community, and there's a reason why so many of you have been dying to see me play the game and just see my reactions to it. And I can see that now. I understand why that is. Now, at first, it took me a little while to like really see like huge differences from the previous games. Like, gameplay of course is similar but different. The user interface is different as well, and the characters are, I would say, very similar to Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Just their overall demeanor, art direction, and chemistry, I feel, is very similar to the first game rather than the second. Now, there is elements of the second that kind of play into this one as well, but overall I do get the Xenoblade Chronicles 1 vibes from this game, and I really appreciate that. It almost made me feel nostalgic in a way, which I liked. But overall, my first experiences with the game have been, I want to say, very, very positive. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I am right now, currently. As I've said before, I'm live right now if you want to go join that stream after this video. But the gameplay is probably the best of the three right now, because I'm at that stage now where I've been introduced to the classes, I've been introduced to chain attacks, I've been introduced to the heroes system, and I'm still learning so much. Last night I played a little bit off camera, and I got 2 of my friends to help me last night and explain some of the chain attacks to me and explain how different classes work, and it's still very much daunting to think about, but I'm finally starting to understand it, and I can see why a lot of people really love the gameplay in this one. And I think this one in particular is very user friendly, which I didn't find to have that same user friendly experience with the previous 2 games. I say that because the tutorial is basically holding your hand all the way through, and I have nothing against that, because I feel like a game like this with so many different combat mechanics needs a tutorial that is as strict as it is. There is literally, the tutorial in this literally stops you from clicking anything else or getting distracted. It will make you do what you're supposed to do and learn it. And the best thing about it is you can go back and relearn it. There's a whole drill system that teaches you how to play the game. And if you forgot something, just go back and redo the drills. There's literally a training section in the game, which I think is probably the best feature about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and my favorite. I'll be honest, it's my favorite feature in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I love the tutorial and I love the drills because every time I boot up a stream, I go into the drills, see if there's any that I missed, play around it, get familiar with the combat system again, and then go out and start playing it. So that's my favorite experience with this game so far, is the drills and the tutorial. I think those things are very essential for a game like this, especially if you're not really that familiar with this kind of genre. I think a lot of people probably steer away from Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because its gameplay can get pretty advanced and a bit daunting and overwhelming when you first look at it, especially if you're just used to like a open world RPG with very basic mechanics. This game throws a lot at you, and it gives you a lot of information very quickly. But Xenoblade 3 is the first time where I'm actually soaking in that information and soaking it in the right way. Do you know what I mean? Like it's explaining it slowly enough and making sure it walks me through everything before I get to where I need to go. And another thing to add to that is if when you come to a boss fight and you say you die to the boss, you then respawn into the menu section where it literally gives you the opportunity to rethink your stats and your gems and your arts and your skills and your classes, so you can, you know, change some stuff or adjust some things or add some more gems, stones to the characters to give you that little bit of an edge going back into the boss fight, which has come in handy for me a few times already in this game, which I really, really appreciate. So I love this game, and I love the fact that the tutorial and the practice and the drills and stuff is very hand-holdy, and it teaches you. Because I feel like a game like this, you need to understand what you're doing to truly appreciate and enjoy it. And I found that experience with a lot of the Xenoblade Chronicles games. And I will actually put up my hand and say, if I played Xenoblade Chronicles myself, away from streaming and away from having any help from anyone, I don't think I would get very far in the game to the point where I would quit, because it isn't a game that is engineered for the way my brain works. Like, you've seen me play games, I get very distracted very quickly. I don't pay attention most of the time because I've got streamer brain. I don't see things because I have tunnel vision, and it's very difficult for me to remember stuff. But Xenoblade Chronicles 3, it's like it's catered towards people like me. And it's not like an attention span issue, it's just the way my brain operates. But this game is catered to me because I feel like I understand a good bit. And that's such a positive experience for me, because previous games, I've always had to ask the mods to help me out and help me remember and give me a recap. But this game, it gives me everything that I need to know. And the story is pretty easy to follow, which comes to my next topic of conversation, is the story and its characters. The story and its characters is fascinating and exciting. And I say that because I'm still very much at the beginning of this game. Even though we're four-hour streams in, I'm still at the very beginning of this game. And it has become abundantly clear now that this game is huge. There is a lot to do. I've only recently found out that you can liberate colonies. Like, that's going to be a whole thing to do in this game, which is exciting, and that's awesome. It means this game isn't just a game that's you're gonna finish in like 20 hours, you know. And there's a lot of games that do that and they give you the full €80 price tag. This game is not even €80, it's cheaper than that. It's like 60, and it's huge, and there's a lot to do, and I think that's amazing, and I look forward to it. But yeah, the story itself, I really like the characters. I love Noah. I think Noah has a lot of like mystery behind him, but I think a lot of the MCs in Xenoblade Chronicles are pretty mysterious. Maybe not Rex, but definitely Shulk and Noah. They share very similar traits that I like, and they're very timid characters. Noah in particular, I feel, is the more timid one, but the caring one and the trustworthy one and the leader, which I quite like. They all seem to look up to Noah, and whenever they're in a pinch and they don't know what to do, they always seek Noah's advice and ask Noah, what should we do next? What is the plan? And you never see Noah falling under any pressure or anything when it comes to a situation. He always knows what to do, and he follows his heart. And I think that's one of the best traits about the character, and I look forward to seeing more of that from him. Lance is very much a Rhine character. He is the tank, and he's also Noah's best friend, I want to say, and his right hand man, and he's there to protect everyone. Like, he's like the big bro, and I love that. It's very similar to Ryan in Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And I like Lance for that. I think he's just got this big brother energy, and his connection with Uni as well is like, it's kind of like a sibling relationship they have, but also, you know, there's a little bit of chemistry there between the two of them, and I think that's really cool. Uni is, I want to say, like a sassy Melia. Of course, she's from the the higher Entia because of the wings and stuff. But she's such a cool character. I love her sassiness and I love her bluntness, and she just says how it is, and I think that's so cool. And she's almost like the character that kind of keeps everybody together and keeps everybody grounded, and I think that's super cool. I love that. Of course, we've then been introduced to the other side, the other party, from the Angus's. Agnes's. Anyway, so we have Mio, we have Tyon, and we have Sina. Those characters, they're awesome. I like them. Mio gives me, she kind of gives me Nia vibes, but she's a little bit more timid and less aggressive than Nia. I'm not just comparing them because they're from the same kind of race or same cat ears and stuff, but I just think she's such a sweet character and very caring character, and she is very much like Noah. They kind of follow the same beliefs, and they kind of have that leadership role about them as well, but they're super caring and super kind, and she seems to show a lot of that, and her compassion for others is very much in front view. Whenever you see her, whenever you interact with her, or whenever she has any story scenes. But she also is like struggling with stuff in her past that they only kind of subtly shown so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going to go with her character and what direction they're going to go in. And then Sina, I would say, is probably the least I know. Like, I don't know much about her character, and they don't really delve too much deeply into her character. All I know is she cares very much about Mio, Mimi, as she likes to refer to her as, and she's almost like a protector of Mimi, very similar to Lance is to Noah. So, but other than that, there isn't like a whole lot there I can say about Sina's character. I just think there's probably a lot for us to explore there. I do love her fiery blue hair. It gives me a Bridget vibes from Torna and 2. And then we come to Tyon. Tyon is like this very logical, sophisticated, intelligent person, and he's very much to the book and strategic, and he's the planner. He's the one that makes sure everybody is kind of on the same page and thinks about everything from a logical and calculated point of view. And I like his character, and I like the fact that we did get some backstory with him, and I look forward to seeing and exploring more of that. I feel like they are slowly but surely exploring origins of these characters, but his one in particular, we did get that cutscene of when he was younger and where he came from, and he had to escape. I can't really reiterate the story, but he does seem very interesting, and he does add a lot to the teams, is what I would say. And I think he is a valuable asset in this team that we're in right now, especially when it comes to planning the next approach whenever it comes to a mission and stuff. He's very much the smart guy character with the wits that they need to figure the more complex situations out, and I think that's super cool. But overall, like, the characters, as I've said, are very, very interesting and awesome, and I love how they've got this great chemistry with each other, and I'm enjoying it so far. Like, and the voice acting is just so good. The voice acting is really good, and like I said before, it is something that I can sort of kind of feel at home with, because it is over on my side of the pond when it comes to the UK, Ireland, Scotland, like all these strong northern accents. I'm very much at home with those because I've talked to loads of people with those accents, and I've come across with people with those accents, and yeah, it's nice, and it's not over the top. I feel Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was definitely a little bit over the top when it came to some of the accents in it, but I didn't mind. In terms of like where the story's direction is going, it is very much a lot of mystery, and I think that's on purpose. I think there is a lot of like subtle nods to the previous games as well. Like, we were just introduced to Ino, who is a artificial blade apparently created by a no-pod called Usu, and now has declared Noah as her driver. So that's the first like on the nose Xenoblade Chronicles 2 reference that we got, but I don't think it's the first one that we got. There is other characters that they hinted towards, like the other queen. I think she's called a queen. Like, we seen the queen. She was Hyentia, who gives me not Melia vibes, but Melia's sister's vibe. And another girl, another queen from a different colony, I think. And she gives me like Nia vibes, just her overall aesthetics. But that's it. Like, we've been very much teased with a lot of things, but not really given anything that gives us an idea where the story is going. It's very much up in the air, but what we've gotten so far and how far I've gotten so far, I'm just more excited than ever to continue. So that's really all I have to say. I am genuinely enjoying Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I want you guys to like see that through me on Twitch, because I'm live right now. If you haven't clicked the link, it's in the description. We're going to continue doing more story stuff today, hopefully. And hopefully we get some really good cutscenes there. That's what I'm really looking forward to. But that's going to be it. That's what I think about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 so far. It's all positive. I can't see any negatives in it right now. I'm really enjoying myself, and I'm learning a lot, and I think it's just going to get better from here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's very raw and it's very just kind of thoughts getting out there, but I kind of wanted to share it with you all. Let me know now in the comment section, what did you think about what I said? Did you have similar experiences as me? Did you not like Xenoblade Chronicles 3? Is there the other games are more preferred to you? Like, I want to know. Let me know in the comment section. But in the meantime, if you want to catch me live, I am live right now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I enjoy making these for this channel. Make sure you do subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and make sure you do follow me on Twitch as well for all of the live shenanigans. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.